What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and it's a Wealth Wednesday. So Stacey Tisdale is here. You got the heavy hitters in the building.
We do have the heavy hitters in the building. Happy Wealth Wednesdays, everybody. And we have actually been killing it this Black Business Month. We had Courtney Adelaide, who created a $100 million business. We had Everett Taylor, who's now the CEO of Kickstarter. Last week was awesome to hear how Angela and Tony have done with Cup. But we figured we'd close it out with something really special. And we are just absolutely honored to have Mori Russell Atkins and Deonte Atkins. Before I introduce them, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the Russell family. Her grandfather, Herman J. Russell, founded the H.J. Russell Company in Atlanta in 1952. It's just a tiny, small plastering business. Didn't think much of it. It has grown into now a $300 million annual revenue business, and the company has helped build some of the most recognizable American institutions out there: Mercedes-Benz Stadium, State Farm Arena, Hartsfield, Jackson Atlanta International Airport, Smithsonian. You're in real estate. Your family's giving the community, just giving so much to the community. You have Rice College, which you'll tell us all about.
Yep.
And I just have to start by asking you, when did you start to realize Grandpa's a little different?
That's a great question. I would say that started from really the time of me becoming an adult and going into college, and then the opportunities. It was more about the opportunities I realized I had when I needed a job, and we had multiple jobs for me to work at. Or, when I went to college and all of my friends were getting loans to go to college, and my grandfather paid for all of us to go to college fully, no loans or anything. So that's kind of when I started to realize wow, we really have something that I can utilize as opportunities as I grow and become a woman.
Because you didn't live lavishly. He didn't live lavishly.
No. We never lived that way. Never lived where it's we're flossing and this and that. No, it's just being able to build and then find opportunities that we're creating for others through our businesses.
I saw, even as far as presents, what type of gifts were you getting for holidays and birthdays?
Yeah, so that we were talking about that was very unique, that every year my grandfather gave us stock for Christmas. Mm-hmm. So, of course, my grandmother had the big bag of gifts, but my grandfather, it was always stock. And that stock actually started when we were born. So that is what actually paid for us to go to college.
Wow.
And even when I just turned the age of 35, that stock was signed over to me as, and there was still money in the stock. So that was something that was very unique, but it paid off tenfold where I couldn't have even imagined.
Thank you, Gramps.
Yeah, thank you, Grandpa.
Yeah, thank you, Gramps.
I got socks.
Now,
socks. So Deonte, what was it like to? You didn't know this when you guys met. How'd y'all meet?
So the funny thing is, we met. I was at a building that I was building out, doing the construction on. And a friend of mine came in town to visit, and he was like, "You want to get something to eat?" I'm like, "I'm too dirty to go to a fancy restaurant." So we go to Hudson Grill, and they tried to sit me in the seat. I end up getting seated in another seat. 5 minutes later, her and another woman walk in, which I didn't know, but at the time she was entertaining a friend who just came in town and randomly called her and said, "Let's get something to eat." So when they came in, they tried to sit her in the same seat, and what caught my attention is because she's like, nah, I don't want that seat, I want over there. So when they sat next to us, the game was on, we started talking, and at this time I was on my spiritual walk. I wasn't trying to be in a relationship or date or anything, but
that's how it always happens.
Yeah.
It's once you get with God, everything else will flow.
Yeah. I started telling God, if it's meant for me to be, I honestly kind of accepted. If it's meant for me to be alone, I'll be alone. But
what had happened to you?
What put you on the path? What put you on the path? Wait, back up.
I just felt like the women I were dating, I knew I had a calling in my life, and I knew God had something for me, and I knew that I was a single father at the time. I had a 14-year-old son, so I wanted to create that home environment for him. So what was happening was, when I meet women, I would start trying to say, okay, if they got a couple qualities, they can be that. So and it went bad. So,
okay.
so I realized, God, maybe it's because I'm forcing something. So rather than me try to force it, I'm accept your will. And if that's for me to chill, I'm gonna chill. So then I met her, and we hung out that night and stuff. We just went. They wanted to go have more drinks. At the time, I had a driver. The funniest story is, at that time, again, because I wasn't trying to date, I was like, well, I'm just gonna, introduce myself, and I had a building down the street that I had just recently acquired. So I was like, let me show her this building. So we go in the building, and she look around. She like, all right, this is nice. Can we go get them drinks now or whatever?
Right,
And
like-
I didn't realize, I was trying to, I don't want to say show off, but I was happy of my accomplishments. I didn't know I had met someone who watched a man accomplish far more than I want to or that I had. You know what I mean? So that's how we met. We met through God.
That's so interesting. So you just struck up a conversation and then said, come see this building.
Well, yeah, and I was actually entertaining, at the time, she was the CEO of LAX, Deborah
Okay.
Flint. So I was entertaining her.
love it.
And I was focused on business. And, you know, I remember he was kind of asking us, what do you do? We're like, oh, we're in the food business. You know,
He
not
said he
really.
work in a restaurant. I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah, and I mean,
own all the concessions. And
yeah, yeah, but it was meant to be,
Right.
You know, God. And the first time we talked, he asked me, he was like, do you go to church? And I was like, do I go to church? Yeah, I go to church. He's like, we should go to church together. And we were texting, and I remember sitting on my balcony like, okay, is this game or is this real?
Yeah.
And it was real. It was the real thing.
What made me ask her that though, because again, I told God I wasn't gonna try to date and stuff. So I was like, rather than break my promise and go on a date, I can take her to church with me. You know what I'm saying?
yes. I mean, you could go on a date to church. No.
I'm gonna try to bring this conversation back to entrepreneurship.
Yes,
If I can't, I
please.
can't. But you were an entrepreneur, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
When
Already.
you
Where were you
Yes,
from?
ma'am.
Michigan?
I'm from Flint, Michigan.
from
so
Flint,
that's,
Michigan.
That's
Okay.
funny too. So the lady she was with was Deborah Flint, and when she said her name, I'm like, I'm from Flint. You know, so it was just God just showed me so many ways that He was in it. And one of the major things is my mother passed away from COVID 2 years ago. On her tombstone, I put, "Let me say this," right? And when me and her started talking at the table, she was like, "Well, let me say this," and I was like,
Oh.
you know,
Mama's
so-
talking.
You gotta watch those signs. I'm telling
For
you.
real,
Like
for
when
real.
you see them, just pay attention and
Exactly.
follow that.
Exactly. Yep,
Wow.
yep.
Wow. So you grew up in this family, and you were saying you got stock. That's one of the things that your family taught you that was different. What are some of the lessons that you saw in your family's entrepreneurial success that you think some entrepreneurs might be missing today?
Well, I would say one thing is like, because this is Wealth Wednesday, so we're speaking about wealth, and I would say
And love.
and love, right? I would say that the number one thing is that wealth for my family is not money. Right? Like wealth is the opportunities, it's access, it's resources, it's relationships. And like that is how we got where we're at, not just because of the money, you know? And so one thing that was very important as my grandfather was becoming an entrepreneur before he even knew he was an entrepreneur, because it started at the age of 12. And it started with him creating a shoe shine company, but his father taught him one thing is to always save, right? So he went from 12 years old, starting his shoe shine company, to saving money from then. At the age of 16, he was able to buy his first piece of real estate, which at that time was like $125. Today, that's like $2,500. And then from that, he saved money and was able to pay his way through Tuskegee University. So like being able to make something, it's like, what do you keep from it and how are you able to leverage, I would say, is what we've learned as a family of like, how do we keep building and creating that wealth?
You said that to me, that one business led to the other.
Yes.
That's part of his entrepreneurial vision in terms of scaling vision. I thought that was really interesting. So it just started with plaster.
It started with his father. You know, we call ourselves G3. So it's like third generation. Like my parents, my uncle and aunt, they're G2, but really we're G4 because it started with my great grandfather and he had a business of plastering. So it started off as a trade that he learned from his father. He picked up that trade and he just turned it into an enterprise. So, and then from that business, when we got in this construction business, we're like, oh, we can do property management. He got in the property management building. Oh, now we're in real estate. We started a family office that does that as well. And then he was in the beer distribution business, and that ended up turning into an opportunity for the airport concessions business.
Sheesh. Now, I want to ask, because, you know, we cannot not tell the story without the story of the two of you together. Mm-hmm. So how did things escalate? Because I also think partnerships are important, right? And being with the right significant other plays a large role in how successful we'll be. So when did you guys start to gel and kind of mix and do business together? For some people, that's tough. But for other people, it can be a great advantage.
Yeah. For me, it was, you know, my drive has always been business and everything. So like in the beginning, it wasn't this easy, right? Because I'm a creative, right? So I'm used to taking risk. And again, I come from nothing. So to me, it's like if I see an opportunity, I'm going to make the sacrifices to capitalize that opportunity, right? My wife, she's more of a stabilized. She come from a structure of she more of let's keep and maintain what we have. I'm on a build, right? So it got a little tricky in the beginning because I would make some sacrifices or take some risks that she would kind of question or challenge that made me question myself, right? And I'm a straight faith-driven person, right? I'm like, God, if you put it in front of me, I'm going after it and ain't no plan B, right? But when I have a wife and a family now, and she was pregnant at the time, it's things that I have to consider that made me question myself. So I say that we got around that, though, thank God, when a lot of the decisions I made started to pan out in a great way.
You said thank God.
I say thank God, you know.
Hey, and looked up. What you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, it was times that, you know, and I again, thank God for my maturity, because it was some things that women can say some stuff sometimes where they don't mean what they say or they don't realize the weight of what they say.
Right.
But a man carry it and that becomes a check on the mark. Like, okay, hey, look, I've grew up with this I'm going to show you mentality because my father was never in my life really, right? So when people would doubt me or not believe in me or just not, like if past relationships, if we break up, I feel like who will break up with Jay-Z? You going to leave me and you must not believe I'm going to be who I said I'm going to be. You know what I mean?
Beyonce.
Yeah.
Hey, bigger than
Literally.
Beyonce. Bigger than Beyonce.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, but I think we both had entrepreneur endeavors.
Yeah.
I just think what I was able to see is like, oh, whoa, I thought I was an entrepreneur. Like, I wasn't even taking some of the risk it takes to be an entrepreneur. And I think it's something we've discussed too. It's like, you know, when you're born with a full plate, you're not as hungry.
Yeah.
Now, I have a hunger in me, but it's different from somebody who comes from nothing.
From building it up all from
Like, he's not afraid to lose it all.
I can't even imagine, but you know, it's just interesting, this dynamic and what those conversations and sometimes arguments could be like, because you are having to look at somebody who came into this, you know, both successful, but both at different ways of attaining that level of success. And so I'm just saying that's, you know, a balance in itself.
It's a work.
For my entrepreneurs out there, I want to tell a quick story that, like, so it was a property that I was pursuing, right? Now, again, I come from nothing, so I leverage things, you know. I'm a creative, right? So I'm the kind of person, it could be a building that costs $5 million. I'm like, I'm gonna go buy it, babe, we only got, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to acquire the things that we need. So it was a risk that I took when I put some money up to acquire a property, and it was a chance it could have all fell apart, right? So I remember her saying something to me that made me question myself, but thank God it all panned out, and I bought that property for 1.6. That property appraised and I'm worth 5.1. You want to know who was the first person calling everybody and telling everybody? But it was a good thing, though.
Bae.
I said, she looking at me like I'm saying something wrong, but I'm saying that because it might be other entrepreneurs out there, other men, that they wife might not see the vision that they have, right?
And
they
that's
might
really debilitating.
But what did you say when we first met? Like, because you're kind of saying this, but I think that they're...
Well, no.
Yeah.
So don't let me get it
I know
twisted.
he told me that you got him because you believed in him.
Don't get it twisted. I'm not. So let me take it back there. My wife has always believed in me, right? It's a difference between believing in somebody and still, I don't want to use it fear, but it's
the stability that you're used to, and not
Just your
taking
differences,
those bigger risks, because it is still a risk.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so, to be clear, any type of investment like that is a risk. Like, nothing is guaranteed.
And I think that's the healthy balance of a partnership.
Right.
Like, you've got to have the one that's out there being creative, and you got to have the other one out there like, okay, let's have our checks and our balances.
Absolutely.
So that's a healthy, you got to, like, if you got two people that are creatives just out there, it's like...
It's a great balance that you have.
Challenging.
Both taking all the risks.
And the creative can't let the balance stop them from being creative, though. You know what I mean? Because with purpose come disruption. So just because you say, hey, look, I got this vision, and some disruption come, don't stop that purpose. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't be the man I am right now if I would have adapted to her way of thinking. You know what I mean? When we got together, we had to merge our way together so we could be where we are.
Deonte, how did you feel when you found out who she was?
It was the funniest was the first hint I got. I had a homeboy that been in Houston, Atlanta for like 20 years, and I know him for 20 years. But we was sitting one day and her name popped up on my phone and it rung, and he looked at me we can't cuss on radio, right?
Go
So
ahead, you got
he
it.
looked at me, and when I got the phone, he started looking baffled and started shaking his head. And I was like, "What's up, bro?" He was like, "How the fuck you come to Atlanta and pull a Russell?" And I was like, "What's a Russell?" I'm like, and I still didn't know. One day after she got pregnant, we laying in her bed and we just chilling watching YouTube, and she say, "Oh, that's my grandfather on the documentary." And
You didn't know
I
while
had
she was.
no clue.
That's
You
crazy.
still didn't tell her?
I
You
had
got to
no
think
clue.
because he's from Flint, so he doesn't
You
know.
need to Google her.
Well,
You should-
wait,
I didn't know why to. I didn't know why to.
But it doesn't really it is so amazing what my grandfather has built and what he's created and what the second generation has been able to maintain and continue to build. But what's most important is what we're continually building
Right.
today, right? So I never in humble, integrity and being humble is who we are as a family.
You just don't talk about it. And a lot of families.
I'm not
Yeah.
what are we doing today?
But people sit around and talk about family, how they grew up. It might come up at some point.
Ultra wealthy families rarely do, though.
And
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but-
it's like you don't have to when you really have it, you don't have to be out here I got it.
Right.
Well, no, the
It's
one
just
thing she
different.
did do when I asked her, I was like, "I'm from Flint." I was like, "Where you from?" She was like, "Atlanta." I was like, "Oh, you from Atlanta?" She's like, "I am Atlanta," and I
you are Atlanta.
and I didn't realize.
Ask about me.
And,
Maury, how is it with your family now? Because like you said, you guys are fourth generation.
I'm gonna say fourth.
Okay.
We're third, but
When it comes to
fourth.
making decisions, because you guys have
Yeah.
definitely carried on the family tradition, the family name. We've seen it go left in other situations, but you guys have been holding it down. How is that dynamic with working together and making decisions?
Yeah, that is fabulous because I think that is the secret sauce. And I'm gonna say one thing is being close as a family, right? The family comes before the business. And so the tight-knit family relationship we have is very important. And that came from my grandmother. My grandfather was out getting it, but my grandmother was making sure that all three of her kids knew how to work together, listen to each other, respect each other's differences, because there's actually the three, my dad, my uncle, and my aunt, they are equal owners of the business. So when they make decisions, my grandfather set it up where they have to come together and agree.
Okay.
Right. And that's not as easy. And now you move to the third generation or fourth that is 8 different people. So what I do is I also work with our family office as kind of your G3 liaison. And so I have basically every month I have a family call. So spouses, everyone, we come together. And then on the following month, I have calls with G3. And that's around family togetherness. It's around our business. It's around our foundation. And just make sure everyone is up to date on things. But we've also brought in a new CEO at our family office. And one of our big focus is governance.
Okay.
Because as things get bigger and
Yeah.
it's more people, there has to be a decision.
You got to think ahead
Yes,
to what
yes.
potential issues could be.
Exactly.
Deonte, one thing you said was interesting is that the monthly family Tuesday meeting you've gone to for years, you've never seen an argument.
No. And, again, coming from, Flint, Michigan, family separation often stem from financing. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Finances, either lack
exactly.
of or, so one thing that I don't see is arguing or issues at dinner. You know how you always have that family dinner, you always got that one. You know what I mean?
I'm about to erupt.
Yeah.
This one you don't. It's always good energy. It's always love. It's all my father-in-law, man, he one of the most genuine, loving people. His heart is just pure. You wouldn't even. Money is not, from the outside looking in, people will look at the Russell like my homeboy. He man, this is that. And I'm like, it's community. It's the belief they have in each other. Even me, bringing me into the family, allowing me to use my creativity to add to something. It's the opportunities that they provide. You know what I mean? And again, I was doing my own thing before this. I thank God accomplished some great things, but to come in and to be a part of something feel better than any business accolade I've accomplished. You know
How
what I
was
mean?
the family with you coming in from Flint, Michigan?
Well, at first, it was always a good energy, but one of the things I remember most, Mike Ross, right? When we met Mike Ross, I walked up to him and I met him and we started talking about something and I said one of my favorite singers or something. And he looked at her and he said, "This nigga Googled me." Cause basically he how is this dude? I'm just myself. And myself, thank God, connect to people. They just really took me in and really rock with me. You know what I mean? So
I saw you did something with like a music. People can do music in the
Oh, yeah,
airport.
yeah.
Can you talk about that? That's a newly launched.
Yeah, ATL, well,
Creative.
Bites and Beats
Yeah.
in the Atlanta airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that actually came about from a World Cup temporary unit opportunity. So the airport, we currently, Concessions International is our airport food and beverage company, and we operate in 8 different airports around the United States.
Love
so
it.
about 40 different concepts in some of the top airports in the world. But Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta Airport is our home base. And so for the World Cup, they had
And
these,
yours.
and ours.
And
Look,
ours.
and they had a opportunity, and they said they wanted a kiosk around music. And so I've told Deonte about it. At this time, Deonte is now, he's become in as our creative. Our new CEO's like, we need a creative mind on our team. But I brought it to him and I said, hey, you know, they want this kiosk around music. And he was like, we should do the first studio in the airport. And I was kind of like, I'm trying to see, like, I don't know.
And it's Atlanta too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
brought it to our CEO, Nikki Tinsley Harlan, and she was like, let's go. Let's run with it. And it has gotten so much traction. So we're really excited about like the next phase of it and where we're going to be putting it, because we do want to put it in airports all around the world.
You're an entrepreneur, and that brings up a couple things. But like you said, you're generation 3. Mm-hmm. The first generation that created this, they had nothing, and they created it from nothing. And you see in a lot of families, a lot of family wealth is lost in the second and third generation because your plate was full. Like you just, there's no way you had that grit and that hunger inside of you. And how do you deal with that and learn from it and bring it to your own entrepreneurial endeavors?
I would say by continuously staying like hungry, you know, and I look like, hey, choose well in your partner, right? Like I'm very like, I wanted somebody that I was going to be with for the rest of my life that would challenge me. So it's like, you know, they say like your partner can be your greatest asset or greatest liability. And like, it's about like people like Deonte or the entrepreneurs that we are helping and assisting through the Russell Innovation Center, where we are looking for the next talent. It doesn't all have to be in the family, but it's like, how can we go out and find the next Michael Jordan? How do we go out and find the next talent? And my grandfather always said, he said, look, if I don't have people that's smarter than me around the table, like,
I'm in the
what am
wrong
I? I'm
room.
at the wrong table. So I think that that's very important. And like just being clear on your North Star. Like that's a really big thing we've been doing in our family. It's like, where are we going in the next 5 years? And everybody being aligned on that mission and moving forward on it.
Tell people about the Rice Center. You have mentored entrepreneurs that have gone on to create about $500 million.
Yes.
in
So
business.
the Russell Innovation Center is right in Atlanta, but let me tell y'all what's most special about it. So the 40,000 square foot building that we donated into nonprofit is the same building that my grandfather built his business, H.J. Russell and Company.
Wow.
So we
It's
took.
got good vibes.
Yes,
and
it
good energy.
has
He
the-
bought it when he was 22.
Yeah, he bought the building when he was 22, 40,000 square foot building that sits right down from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Sheesh.
So this is when it might have
That's your
been
block.
like a broke down house right next door, and he saw the vision of that this will eventually be the next downtown in Atlanta, and now we have $1 billion Mercedes-Benz Stadium next door. So that's what makes the Rice Center so special. But like the Rice Center is a space for Black and brown entrepreneurs, a space where we wanted to create a safe space for entrepreneurs to go through. We have some really amazing programs. We've got like the Ideas program, where whether you start in an idea or you're in a scale stage, we have a place for you to go through the cohort. We have like a retail readiness. We have a lot of stakeholders. They're not members, they're actually stakeholders in our business. We do not, member is not what we use. And we have a lot of stakeholders who have are in Walmart, in different stores. We also have used stakeholders at Rice to bring them in the airport concessions business through product agreements. So it's like a full circle moment, but it is a very special place.
It's an amazing facility too that if you get a chance, you gotta check out. Like when you walk in, it pays homage to Mr. Russell, because since he was a plasterer, that's this monument as soon as you walk in that it's like I'm a creative, so I love art stuff. So he's plastering over negative words and just darkened out and then lit up words on the other side like I can be great and words like I can't, and it's the building is utilized so great that it inspires you in ways other than just entrepreneur. It inspires you in ways to just be a better person. You know what I mean?
You guys also have the Russell Rocks the Block event. Can we talk about that 6th annual Russell Rocks the Block so people know how they can come out?
Yes. So we are so excited for our 6th annual Russell Rocks the Block, which is really a way that we're like, hey, it's great. We can do all these things, but what are we doing in the community? We have to be boots ground in the community. So it happens really right up the street from the Russell Center in the special Castleberry Hill neighborhood in the west side of Atlanta. It's a free event. People can sign up for the event now. It's at hjrussell.com/Russell Rocks the Block. And at the event, we'll have special guests. We've got resources. We're partnering with Black Voters Matter so we can educate people on voting and voter equity. We also have a job fair. And so we've done an amazing job with the job fair and hire people on the spot for opportunities in our businesses and other businesses that reside on the west side.
And how do people learn about that?
So they would go to hjrussell.com/Russell Rocks the Block, or you can follow us on Instagram at Russell Rocks the Block for all the details.
So y'all have done so much for entrepreneurs. You're doing so much for the community. I want to talk to you for just a minute. You're an entrepreneur yourself. And we were talking about what we're trying to do this month is to get entrepreneurs to think bigger, Black entrepreneurs, and think about scaling. What are some of the things that you learned from your family about scaling, and how did you, I know you struggle with that a little bit in your own entrepreneurial thinking.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing is like, I come from this amazing family. We have these amazing businesses, but we are still building something of our own. So we utilize it, but we still have to be the ones to figure out our systems, our processes, how we hire, what we want our brand to represent. But what I can say that I've learned from my family is the system and processes that have been in place where we have a business 70 plus years later, or Concessions International that's been here for 47 years. And it's the people. Like, the people is kind of the number one thing, like how we treat people and how people show up for our business. So, I mean, we have so many employees that have been with us for 30, 20 years. And I think that is like a big secret sauce, is like being a company that people want to work for.
Yes, that's amazing.
That's amazing. Can I do my Angela Yee impression?
What?
As we round out Black Business Month, Mori, Russell, Atkins, you have the last word.
No, but honestly, this has
We're
been
not done.
amazing
Sorry.
just to see how you two have really balanced each other out, but also everything that you said, I think, I have one last question as we end this, though. What role does politics play? Because we're talking about voting and making sure that people are getting out there. Atlanta is always, the state of Georgia. We're always looking at what's happening there as well. So when it comes to voting and supporting different candidates, how do you guys look at that?
I think that it's important. Like, one thing my grandfather did was he used his economic power to help things like the civil rights, right? Like, he was the one that they said, hey, we don't need you marching in the streets. We actually need you to help and bail people out of jail. And then he used his political power for economical power. I want to say that to the entrepreneurs out here. I don't say you all have to get into politics, or I'm telling you who or who not to vote for, but you need to be aware and you need to connect with politics, relationships, because that is how we get most of our work
Even
done.
getting in your business in the airport.
What? That's all. It's all like city ran, right?
Even from zoning.
And even the work we do at H.J. Russell and Company right now, we are really focused on the mission critical, which is what are they? The data centers.
Oh, data centers.
Yeah.
All of this is relationships, politics.
That's
so
big,
we have to lean on that. And like, hey, we're paying politicians. Like, what are they out here
they
doing?
work for us. Hello.
Yeah, like, we need to get, like, okay, what are you doing? How is this helping me? How is this helping my family? How is this helping the community? And that is why we are doing Russell Rocks the Block on September 19th, to make sure we are present and in the community.
Yep. And follow you on Instagram. What's your Instagram again?
Russell Rocks the Block. You've got Russell Rocks the Block. You've got Concessions International, H.J. Russell and Company, and our business, which is Za Acai Cafe. It was voted in Atlanta the best health bowls in 2025.
I saw Keith Lee showed up.
Yep. So it's like you have to check out Za Acai Cafe. We're in the Midtown Atlanta. We are in the airport, and we are also opening a location in the South Side.
Oh, I'll definitely be there. You know, that's right up my alley.
We got you.
Yes,
we got you.
We will. Thank you so much for celebrating Black Business Month with us. What a great way to close it out. And happy Wealth Wednesdays, everybody. And we'll put a link to your event on teamwealthwednesdays.com as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.